No.
Live.
Now we're on.
That is hilarious. So besides the fact it was forbidden and I finally got in, when I go to the microphone, it's always set up perfectly, but I need to take it from set up perfectly, set it up wrong, and then set it up perfectly again.
I actually just did that defaultly before you even came on. I just did it. I was like, let me change my audio settings to whatever, system, save it, go back in, change it to Kraken, resave it, and then it works. So at least we have the audio problem down.
Hilarious. And I was thinking it was a sign that I was forbidden to come in. It's like the forbidden dance, the Lamada. The forbidden podcast. There you go. That would get a lot of people to watch.
That's a good title. Well, yeah, that could be our the forbidden. I like our, though, Can You Feel Fat? Because I think it's such a hot topic right now, so that's good.
I agree. I am ready. And it was funny because I've thought a lot about this over the past 3 minutes when I couldn't get into the podcast. And I think why my gut went a different way from yours, and I think it's a little bit too controlling. So I'm ready to go. I'm excited to talk about this. So what do we do?
So wait. So I have our agenda. So I'm going to tell the story about the last night of filming for the thing as an intro. Then we'll update on our challenge stats, and we want to sprinkle in the spilled flour. Do you happen to have that we can read?
I will get that.
You get that? Okay, that would be great.
Yeah. Now then, do we want to skip the other one that we were going to do and do the feel fat instead? That might be the better way to go and save the other one.
We could, or I don't know. You think we could do both? I think we might be able, because I don't know how long the challenge. I don't think the update on our challenge should be very long. Because I feel like
there might be some tears.
I feel like last week we talked about it a lot, and then this week it could be more of like a 2-minute update, whether or not we're going to continue kind of thing, and then not. I feel like it's kind of old. Not old news, but like it's boring for people who have already listened. Like we don't want to go down the whole one drawer route again.
So I'm not understanding. What is that word you used? It begins with a B. I don't think it applies to us.
Boring?
Of course, now I'm looking for the flour and I can't find it. So we're giving them a lot.
I think they sent it to the wycwyc Facebook page. Yes. So it should be on that little thing of posts by others. Let me see if I can find it.
Let's see. I have posts, edit page, more.
Hold on.
No, I don't want to delete. That would be me. Look, I've accidentally. Oh, post a page. Got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, I've got it. Deleted the entire page. Wouldn't that be funny?
I'm going to, by the way, probably mute myself.
I'm ready.
I'm going to probably mute myself a few times to handle my coughing fits that might be happening, just so you don't get worried. So I might mute myself if I have to do a coughing fit, and then everybody who watches the behind the scenes can see me hacking in the background. But no one will hear it on the podcast. Okay, so
is it behind the scenes or is it the forbidden podcast?
The forbidden podcast.
Okay, I'm ready.
So we'll update the challenge. Then we'll do, I think, quality versus quantity, and then we'll do the feel fat conversation, and then we will give a shout out to Got to Run for Me. And then do we have her tweet that we want to read about the girlfriends?
I do have it, but more than anything, it's the overarching sentiment, which is what we want. Perfect.
Okay. All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Yep.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the wycwyc podcast. We are back for episode 8.
Again, episode 8, and it feels like episode 87. It feels like we've been doing this. We're in a groove when we can get it going with recording, and it feels like we've been doing this for a while in a good way.
It does, and you know what I was thinking about the other day was that I wonder how many episodes we're going to have in season 1. We haven't really discussed this.
People keep asking me, how many do you need in the can? I'm like,
I don't know.
There's a can?
We're just going to figure that out as we go along. But I do like the idea that we have built in seasons so that way we can take a break, and then come back and start season 2. Once we decide what we're going to do. But I feel like right now we're just uncovering it as we go along, which is really fun.
Yes, and I know that I'm completely smitten and in love with my television. I give myself one show every night, and it's very befuddling to me sometimes how they do. It's like the end of a season, but they've only done 5 episodes. And then it feels like the show comes back in 5 minutes.
I just said that about The Walking Dead. I am a huge Walking Dead fan because, of course, I'm like a horror movie crazy person. I love zombies. And
is that on Bravo? If it's not, I've never seen it.
It's not on Bravo. It's on AMC, which is my second favorite channel. And
that's Mad Men channel, yes? Mad Men? I've never seen that.
Yes, Mad Men and Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad and all of those shows. And that last Sunday they said, only 3 more episodes left or 2 more. I was like, wait, what? No, we just started.
No, it's no longer the fall all the way until the summer. That's
yeah, it's weird. But anyway, I want to kick off this podcast with a really funny story. So
yes, which I don't even know yet.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited to share this with you, especially. So I don't know if we talked about it in an earlier podcast about how we're filming the wycwyc or What You Can When You Can book trailer.
Oh, we did. We gave Thea some love.
That's right. We did. Okay, so we this past just 2 days ago on Monday, we filmed the last little small vignette / scene with another member of our community, Nikki Massey, which is great.
I was so excited to see it.
Yes, I'm so excited that we have people that we know to be in the trailer. And so the person that we have doing our trailer, his name is Lee Morton, and he runs a video, actually mostly wedding video company called ClickSpark. Very talented, super creative, and just really fun. And he has a small staff now. And they're young and fun and just like right out of college. You could tell, like how like that right out of college vibe that people give off when they're like 20, 21.
Yes.
I'm like
life
really
has
jealous.
Not jaded them yet.
Yes, they're so energetic and they're ready to work around the clock and they're not afraid to give their ideas. So they're just inspired. It's nice to be around that kind of energy. So we were setting up for the scene, and one of the girls says to me, just by doing this project with you, I find myself wycwycing. And I'm like, really? And she goes, yeah, I was at the drive-thru the other day, and I was going to get like my typical meal with the fries, and she goes, I said, no, wycwyc, I'm going to get a side salad. And she skipped the fries and got a side salad. And I was like, oh my
gosh, I love that. And I love the wycwyc. Like I find now when I hashtag it on Twitter, because I say it when I write it down, I want to add another one. Like I did a tweet before the podcast, and I put hashtag wycwyc, and then I put wanna wanna. I'm like, it's like waka waka. I cannot stop myself.
Well, it made me feel so good too, and she knows, of course, she knows the vision for the video. So, yes. And part of the thing for the video is that we do have these quote unquote wycwyc moments where the actor in the video thinks and says to themselves wycwyc, and then makes a different choice. And so I was happy with that. I was like, that is so cool. Like, I'm so excited that it's inspiring. And to me, again, being an old fart, I was like, it's inspiring a younger generation. Yeah. I was like, well, that's that she kind of gets it and took it and applied it to her goals and her desires. To make the story even better, though, was a young man who was her, her coworker or whatever. He overhears this and he comes over and he goes, oh, no, I know. It's affecting me too. And I'm like, really? Seriously? I'm not kidding. And he says, his story was, he's like, yeah, I was driving home from work the other day and it was late. And he's like, oh, maybe I'll just hit a drive-thru. And he goes, no, wait, I have yogurt in the fridge. I'm just going to go home and have that. Wycwyc. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh. See, I love that.
I do too. And I'm like, I'm guessing his age, but maybe 20, 22 at the most. And I'm thinking it's a young man.
We didn't know about man. Yes. That young male demographic.
Yeah, and he's not, he's a very typical, he's not trying to lose weight. He's not trying to he's just somebody who thought, oh, I can make a better choice right now. And I thought, yes, that's it.
Gosh, that is it. It's like what they used to call in the olden days the aha moment. Now it's a wycwyc moment.
Yes, it is. And we talked about this earlier. It reminded me of when was the What Would Jesus Do bracelets really big? Do you remember that?
I do, because back in the day, I had just launched my blog, so it was like 2005 or 6, because I made bracelets.
Everybody made bracelets.
Riffing on that, yes. So it was like those were super popular in the 90s. Like 90s.
It was 90s. I was going to say, I think I was either in high school or college, so I was like, I thought it was even earlier. I thought maybe it was late 80s, early 90s, but I really don't remember. I just remember there was definitely a few year span there where everybody had a bumper sticker or bracelet that just said WWJD.
JD.
Yeah, and it was like the whole What Would Jesus Do, in the sense of it was acts of kindness more than anything, I think, is what it was supposed to inspire. Right, like people treating people better. I think that was what I.
No, that is it. And I laugh, and I still joke, but it's serious when I'm trying to be aggressive, assertive in my life. I do the WWTTD. What would Tammy Taylor do? From Friday Night Lights. But it is that channeling someone else.
It is. Well, I guess it's like tricks for your brain to remind yourself what's valuable to you or what's important to you, and kind of, because if you don't take an active role in it, then you're just going through on autopilot. So anyway,
I can't wait to see that trailer.
I know. Just a few short. Well, it's just a few weeks. We should have it in a few weeks, so I'm really excited. But I really want to share that story with you, and I thought it would be more fun to share it.
It's a great story.
It just made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
It is amazing how, and I've said this before, but I used to be really shocked in my old Oakland neighborhood. People I didn't really even know had any idea what wycwyc was would say, "Oh my gosh, I thought of you yesterday because," and the whole story was, and then I wycwycked.
Right.
So
The
fun
thought
to
of you,
say.
I still get comments from my blog where people said, I thought of Ronnie. I channeled my inner Ronnie. And that always made me feel really good too.
No,
Yeah.
I know. And that's why I think I love the wycwyc stuff, because it's like we've talked about, it's shining the mirror back on you. It's not about us, it's
Right.
about the community, which I love because there's so much more momentum created by a big group of people than don't channel me, because sometimes I make some bad choices.
That's really, yes. I'm like, I always say, you don't want to be me, you want to be you better,
Yes,
which is better than me.
yes. Oh, speaking of making things better.
I was just gonna say that, or speaking of our being all about us. So update on the challenge. I killed it. I really did.
I did
I am
too.
so proud of myself. Now, mind you, I still have a long way to go, which I think is almost the lesson to be learned. But every day since last Wednesday, I have tackled either a drawer or a cabinet in my kitchen. And so I got my nemesis drawer or a cabinet done, which was the
That's
island
always the big
cabinet.
thing. Yes, I had
Yeah,
a
and
nemesis trunk.
it's almost like the one that was inspiring me to do, like, okay, that one really needs to do. And it's funny because I found myself tackling different ones based on different situations. So there were certain days where I was much busier, and I thought, you know what, I don't have a lot of time today, so I'm going to do the small, I have like a drawer with like, the sandwich baggies and random things in there, like Sharpies to write names on lunch bags, and you know what I mean? But I thought, okay, I'll tackle that small drawer today while I'm cooking dinner, like, oh, I'm waiting for the water to boil for pasta. Yeah, I'll tackle this drawer, and I'd be done with it, like literally in a moment, matter of 3 minutes.
Time, yes, because
Yeah.
pasta's going to be done in this long. And I did the same, and I cannot believe I am totally unpacked.
No way.
But then
I still have 2/3 of my kitchen to do.
oh my gosh, but the most powerful thing to me that I had not realized is how much less stress I feel. I could seriously cry. I hadn't realized, because I rarely went in the room where all the chunks were, how much angst and stress all the clutter was causing me. And nothing is organized. I mean, it's funny because I thought of you in that all the trunks are gone, but now I need to be you and go through. I'm going to wycwyc my way through organizing each drawer, but everything is away. And I thought progress, not perfection. I almost got paralyzed. Where's the best spot for my fleece? And then I thought it doesn't matter. It just needs to be a spot. So it's all away. There was definitely progress, absolutely no perfection. I could cry at the weight that feels like it's lifted. The visual clutter was stressing me out, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, it's for me. I just knowing that I've made progress is inspiring me. Like to keep. So, like I said, I tackled the small drawer. Like I think I'm just proud of myself for keeping it up. And then, what's the word we always use? Like, I guess evolving. Not that's not the right word, but tackling what I could tackle in that day, and then using other advantages. So, like my nemesis cabinet. I did on Sunday when I did have more time and the kids were entertained, and I was like, okay, I have a half hour. I'm going to take everything out of this cabinet and then go through it. I threw away so much stuff where I was like, I have not used this whatever in I don't even know how long, or I found like pieces of old blenders where I was like, I don't even own this anymore, but yet I have the extra blades. Why do I have that?
I probably have the blenders too. I laughed and I made the child not even help me, but I basically said to her, your assignment is just to cheer me on. And it was so funny, kind of wycwyc, kind of not, but I got rid of a lot more stuff. I realized I thought I had decluttered already, but then I went through and I thought, do I need this? And she said to me super solemnly, I have no idea where she got it, not from me, you know if you need it. Just listen, Mama. You have a voice inside of you that will tell you if you need to keep that or not. And I thought, okay, that kind of made me laugh in the moment, but it's so true with the overall what you can when you can concept of we can make excuses and lie to others. You can't lie to yourself.
Yeah, you know. I'm
skipping a workout or I'm holding on to this item. Some of the stuff I almost held on to knowing I would never wear it again.
Right.
But we know. And so I laughed. She's like, you know, Mama. You know.
You know what? Just as a small sidebar, we need to do a shout out at kids doing things that are outside of their, you know how you have a toddler and a toddler uses a really big word and you're just like, it kind of sets you back like, oh, you use a big word. And I feel like, and you and I are both in the same stage of parenting because I have a 9-year-old and you have an 8-year-old. Sometimes they do things that is very adult-like or say something. So while we were filming the scene on Monday, again, my house was turned into the set. So Ryan comes downstairs. He was playing Minecraft, of course. We talk about this every time. So he comes downstairs, and we had pastries out for the crew to film. And he already had a little piece of banana bread, and it was like, okay, and they went back upstairs to play. And he came downstairs, and he walked into the kitchen, and he grabbed the entire case of banana bread, and he looks at the entire crew of people in the kitchen. He goes, don't judge me. And he whipped his head around.
Oh, my gosh, that's so funny.
And he brought the banana bread upstairs, and I went, did that just happen? Did my son, I'm like, where did he learn that? I don't think I've ever said, don't judge me when I'm eating something, but it's a cultural thing. And I said, wait, get back here. And I go, take a slice. And leave the rest.
I am judging. Oh, my God. It is so funny. And then they'll just as quickly become a child again. Like sometimes when she has meltdowns, I'm like, okay, so you're not a 40-year-old woman telling me, listen to your inner voice.
Right, and my son isn't like this. I don't know. It was just like it was really fun. He had everybody cracking up because they all looking at me and they're like, "Did he just do that?" I'm like, "He did just do. Where did he learn that from?"
Gosh.
But anyway, just a small sidebar.
I am so proud of us. We are moving forward. I cannot believe. Like I feel I'm not a clutter person. I tend to just give too much away. That I did not realize how much stress that clutter was causing me. I feel like a weight has been lifted. I could seriously have cried when I was done, and I thought it's quintessential progress, not perfection. The drawers, it's total disarray, but it's a step.
Exactly. And we had members of the community take some pretty big steps. I was loving the updates on Facebook with people saying, you know, it was rough. I did a bad day yesterday, but I got my drawer in today and whatever. And we had, do you have one that was?
I have Ruth Collins.
So fun.
Gosh, when she shared the photo, and I will read the caption in a second, did you feel as I did, like, oh, I feel responsible?
I feel guilty, yes. I was like, oh, I didn't mean to.
Okay, so we love Ruth. She shared, and I adored that, Ruth, you felt comfortable sharing this. I loved it. She said, I went to spend 10 minutes organizing my pantry. Go, Ruth. Total challenge picker-upper, and I dropped a bag of flour. And she has a picture. You can check out the Facebook page, what you can, when you can. Sigh. Wycwyc had another idea for me to clean the floor, I guess. She put a picture of the flour, and all I could think of was, oh, we instigated this.
Yes, I know. Well, and it's funny because we both commented, and I tried to put a positive spin on it by saying, well, maybe the flour was old and it knew it needed to be thrown away.
It leaped.
I'm like trying to be like Miss Positive.
I was so happy to see that she joined us and she shared the picture. So
yeah, but then she turned it around though. I think she had a comment where she ended up not only like cleaning up the flour, but then accomplishing the whole pantry or something. And I was just, it felt really good.
Yes, she said I went to get the hand vac to clean up the spill, and it hadn't been dumped from the last litter fiasco. So when I went to find the charger and get the big vacuum, I found an old toy the dogs haven't played with in ages. So this was all to make my dog happy, and the floor is clean, and I still straightened up the shelf and found a lost bag of oatmeal. So she wycwycked her way to unbelievable success.
That was so great. I love
I love that she shared it. Yes.
But I also think it shows, too, it's really, if we want to be all, what's the word I'm looking for, like cheesy inspirational, it's kind of a metaphor for life, right? Like you have good intentions, you're going to do this, then something bad happens, and you can either react to that by going, oh my God, forget it, I'm not even going to deal with this, or you could just go, oh well, I dropped the flour, let me do
What's the silver lining?
And then she's ended up with multiple positive outcomes because instead of freaking out over the flour, she kind of laughed about it, shared it, and moved on. Like, it's kind of a metaphor for any kind of goal achieving, really, if you think about it, because you're always going to drop the flour. That could be like our new...
Oh my God, Ruth, we'll be giving you a cut.
We're going to be like, yes, don't drop
it. I love that, yes, good point. So like us on Facebook, and you can share, because we would love for you to share what you're doing with the challenges, how you're wycwycking, all that.
Oh, the stories are the best. They're like my favorite part. Yes. When someone shares something on Twitter or Facebook or Tumblr and they tag it wycwyc, and because that's how we see it, right? So if you don't tag it wycwyc,
yes,
it's hard for us to see it.
Right. WYC.
Yeah, and then
I'll go and look at them just for inspiration.
I do all the time, and that's what really makes the community aspect of this so powerful. Because even like this morning, I was having a really just tough morning. Like I just was like, I went to the gym, I did my thing. I got one kid off to school. I have one kid sick watching a movie upstairs. And I thought, I just can't face this day right now. And so I shared it on Facebook.
I saw a shout-out person was the one.
I can't get motivated. Like my big wycwyc move right now would literally to get my butt off the couch. And I shared that. And then, of course, I have one or two comments of people going, it's a beautiful day, you got this. And I'm like, you know what, you're right, I do, I got it. And so just that sense of support that you're not alone and that everyone has these bad days. And instead of kind of like sulking and becoming all introverted about it in my own head, and if I get it out, it's like that's almost the wycwyc step in and of itself, like getting out of your head and just sharing it, you know, in some way on social media, I think does wonders for me. So, I mean, really, that's what we do. So we're going to move on because I am fascinated about this quality versus quantity discussion that you are having on your blog. And I read the post, but I haven't really absorbed it, and I don't even think I formulated an opinion yet. So I really want to hear you out on this whole quantity versus quality.
Okay, I've been thinking so much about this too, and for me, it's much more with parenting. I'm not a big foodie, as we have established. And I know there's always a big debate with foodie type people, and you've actually mentioned this a couple times. I'm a volume eater, and so it goes quantity versus quality. Some people are I like to go to the fancy restaurants where it's a tiny, well-prepared item on a large plate kind of thing, and it becomes all about the quality of the food, locally sourced, all of that. For me, the overarching focus of the blog was parenting, and for me with that, it seems only through quantity do I get my quality. I think a lot about my husband who travels Monday through Friday, and so he gets a small amount of time with our daughter, and I would feel a lot of pressure in small amount of time with her, with social media, with my dog, small amount of anything with anybody, to make those moments into tremendous quality interactions. And I've noticed I've had such great parenting moments recently, and I think for me it's only through quantity with anything, whether it was weights, running, which I do so rarely, any kind of cardio, yoga, Pilates. Only through quantity experience of something am I able to give birth to those powerful quality moments.
So when you are referring to quantity, you're literally referring to kind of submerging yourself in it. So if you take parenting, it's just spending obscene amounts of time with your child.
Because we do by default. And so it's some of its attitude. So I started thinking, okay, I could lament the fact that I do homework. He's gone in the morning. He's gone overnight. But then I thought, I don't think I would have these, and there's so few of them, to be honest. In a huge week, I might have 3 or 4 amazing, quality, powerful moments with her if I didn't have that quantity in order to achieve them.
I don't know about this.
Can we get quality without quantity? And I think it's different for each one of us.
Well, and it's probably different for each different aspects of our lives. So, like for me, parenting, I think it's a mixture because, you know, even just a typical work day for a typical parent, you know, you see your kids in the morning for a little while, they go to school, you go to work, kids come home, you have the dinner hour, and then it's bed, right? I mean, it's so fast. It goes so fast midweek. And then around, especially as like Ryan gets older, I find that he just naturally is wanting to spend less time with us. You know, like he has more friends, he has outlets, he's able to Skype his friends now and have interactions with kids his own age. And but I do notice times where, like on a weekend or even a weeknight after dinner, where everyone's doing their own thing. You know, the husband will be on his tablet playing Moon Beach, which is his new obsession.
That is.
Yeah, the 9-year-old will be upstairs in his room playing Minecraft, right? And then the 4-year-old, by the way, on Tuesday, the 4-year-old will be watching TV, say, or playing with his Matchbox cars, and I'll notice myself standing in the kitchen going, why are we all separate right now? Can we not do something together? And then it's I'm usually is impetus the right word? I'm usually like I'm the one going, let's do something. Let's play Monopoly. Let's do a puzzle. let's sit on the couch and watch the same show at the same time.
So then you're choosing to facilitate the quality time together. I don't know if I could do it. And I don't know what it says about my parenting. To me, you know what it is? Perhaps that's why I don't compete. Because I think if I had, I get 1 hour, let's say a week, a night, whatever it is with my daughter, that would be so much pressure to make it fantastic. It would not be fantastic. I do think for me it takes quantity to give birth to quality.
You know what? I think I agree with you. I just don't know if I ever thought about it in those terms, because I also am the one to bring the kids along on mundane tasks.
Yes,
just cause. Like, hey, we're gonna go. I'm going shopping. Come with me. We'll wash the car. We'll do this. We'll do that. And I find
that's exactly what I'm thinking.
That those moments are as valuable. And see, but in a weird way, I think. Well, and parenting, I think, is an exception to other. Like, they are the quality moments. So the mundane and the quantity becomes the quality. So
yes,
because when the kids grow up and they look back in their lives, they're going to see, like, if you, I don't know, I always kind of talk about this with the I get to kill multiple birds at one time. That's why I involve all my kids, with the laundry, and I involve them when we're, I don't know, preparing dinner, or I involve them when we're doing things, because that is life. Like, that is what they do. If you, as a parent, just did all those things alone and then let the kids fend for themselves and didn't involve them, you have
disempowering them.
Right, but you also have, like, less time to be with them because you're doing other things. So I don't know, but I do feel like it's different for different aspects. So, like, for me
with food,
with food,
is that right? The volume thing.
I did do the volume thing. I do the volume thing, and it's very dependent, I guess, on my mood and hormone levels.
Yeah.
And so when I was dieting originally, and I did lose a lot of weight, I did make that decision where I was going to stop fighting myself and my need to want that full feeling, and I did start to. It was a combination of quality and quantity, I guess. But, like, you can argue, okay, if you really, really, really want cheese fries, then just have the cheese fries. Like, that's one mentality, and then, you move on. But at a time in my, a time in my journey where it was more important for me to hit a weight loss goal and to achieve those goals that I set out for myself, then it shifted from quality to quantity over quality. So then it was, okay, I really want cheese fries, but that, if I have them, it's going to prevent me from reaching the goal I want to reach right at this moment, and that goal is a higher priority to me than the darn cheese fries.
Or even what you said in your last post to the CrossFit woman. I don't know enough that I wouldn't speak about Weight Watchers, but it seemed like there's sometimes a sense with Weight Watchers where you can get a lot of volume, bang for your buck with the points.
Right.
But you said, right now that might not get me where I want to be in my CrossFit. Am I translating that correctly?
It comes down to priority. So then it was like, okay, the cheese fries aren't on top of the priority. My goal that's my priority, but I really do want them. So instead I'm going to have butternut squash fries, a horde of them. Do you know what I mean? So then it became, I had a supplement. It's kind of like that change of, what did we talk about last week? Like, I diverted my attention almost to something else, and it became, it's kind of hard to explain. But with the CrossFit, so the question of, and I feel like we have to orientate people just in case. So someone asked me a question recently whether or not CrossFit and Weight Watchers was a good complement to each other, and whether or not, like, they felt like they were CrossFitting and they weren't seeing results in their body size.
Yes.
And the scale that they expected to see, and whether or not it's worth it for them. And so it gave me a chance, as someone who did start this journey as someone who really just wanted to lose weight and change my habits, and I went down that path of basically reducing calories.
But interestingly, it seems when my friends have done Weight Watchers, it's more about the volume. Like, how much can I eat for my point exchange?
That mentality, that mentality helped me. So it helped me change my diet.
You don't feel deprived.
Yeah, and it helped me incorporate more vegetables, because you automatically go,
yes,
well, I can eat all of this for 3 points, or I can have, like,
one fry,
a cookie.
Yes,
so
yes.
I'd much rather have this giant 3-cup salad with tomatoes and all the stuff. Yeah, I mean, that was a huge part of success why I think it worked for me, that particular plan worked for me. But over the course of the last 10 years, I definitely have shifted, because for me now, a smaller body size isn't necessarily a priority. Now my priority more is, can I lift more weight? Am I hitting goals at the gym? Am I getting faster? And so it's a completely different balance. But I don't know if that's the same as
no, it's
a quantity
right.
versus quality thing.
With the quality, but I start thinking of, with the food, the quantity can sometimes just be volume versus the small. You're right, quality becomes the wrong word, but my friends that are foodies would think, okay, I can have this huge bowl of steamed broccoli and this and that and this and that, or this salmon with whatever sauce that's teeny tiny in the center of the plate and very lovely presented.
Well, and when you're first starting out, I think that's the mentality of Weight Watchers really works, with the quality versus over the quantity. And then as you come to terms with it and you reach your goals, and then you realize, and you reshuffle your priorities, really. Like I definitely now, when I go out to dinner, the same things don't appeal to me that once appealed to me. You know, like it used to be, oh my God, I really want mozzarella sticks, and I really want fried chicken tenders, and I really want, like, all these foods.
Yes.
And then through the course of my particular journey and the changes I made in my diet, like now a quality meal, like I went out for a quote unquote fancy dinner with the husband last weekend with friends, and we had like a double date kind of thing, and it was great. And we went to a local restaurant that's known for having really good quality food. And you know what I ordered? I ordered a soup. They had like, it was a butternut squash, just amazing soup, a beet salad, because I am slightly obsessed with beets, and a crab stuffed trout. So, and it was an amazing meal, But if when I started 10 years ago, those choices that I made wouldn't have even been the choices. Like I wouldn't,
they would have seemed like punishment.
Exactly. They wouldn't have appealed to me. I'd be like, why are we going to go to this fancy dinner? Why can't we go to TGI Fridays and get fried whatever?
And and this actually segues perfectly into the next segment, because for me, the choices I make all kind of flash forward to the next day, what I have going on, what I want to do, the energy my life demands. And I think if I order cheese sticks, stuffed potato skins, and the chicken tenders, I'm going to wake up feeling terrible.
I don't know. Terrible?
Yes. Hungover, lethargic. So for me, it has become so much more about how I feel, which goes into our next piece. But yes, you're right. For me, the quantity versus quality is not so much in the food, but it really is in the physical. Oh my gosh, to have a great lift, because I'm not genetically blessed, it takes me 40 sessions in the gym to feel like one is amazing. So from quantity, quality is born, and definitely with my daughter. I am with her all the time because my husband's not here, and it's only, if I had the pressure of 2 hours with her a week, I wouldn't get any quality. But it's only from the quantity with her, any quality experiences are born.
It makes sense. You know what, it's always fun when we discuss kind of what you and I both have going on, because I think we always come to the same conclusions, mostly, but we have a completely different way of formulating a thought process around it. Because
which I love.
What I mean? Yeah, which is, it's fascinating, because I don't know if it's like I hear you and I know exactly what you're saying, but I was like, I don't know if I would describe that as quantity versus quality, which is, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not sure, like I don't, so it makes for good conversation, which I think.
And that's why I'm excited about the next one, because I don't think we agree, and the more you talk about it, the more I'm like, oh, intellectually I see what you're saying.
I think the funny thing is, I think we do agree. The funny thing is I flip-flop. So, okay. So everyone should probably saw by now, or maybe not, might be enlightening people, that there was a little bit of a hoopla around the fact that Facebook added additional feelings to their emoticons, right? That's what they're called, right? Emoticons.
Do you ever use those? I never use those.
Very rarely, like maybe 5% of the time, when it just strikes me. I don't know, something inspires me to use them now and then. But they added I feel, and it's, happy, sad, content, deprived, whatever. They added fat. I feel fat as an option. F-A-T,
No
not
P-H-A-T.
P-H-A-T, which would be really cool as
That would
well.
have been a good idea for them to do it as the play on words, but they didn't
It
think of
would
that.
be. And so a lot of body image experts were up in arms, and I completely understand why, because it's basically equating fat as a negative. No one says I feel fat, meaning it in a positive way. So they're always meaning it in a negative way, and then we're equating the word fat with negative connotations, correct? So I mean that you'll have to that's what
Me too.
how
Yes.
I'm interpreting the
The
problem.
backlash. Yes.
Yes, which I agree with, and it's funny because I have posts on my blog that are titled, quote, "Fat is not a feeling." So it's something that
Yes.
I do struggle with, but I also think that sometimes, especially for us who I know do struggle with a bad body image, it's almost like we're using that word, and it comes down to semantics, which a lot of things do, as a way to describe the way we're feeling we don't have another word for it. There is no other word for it. Like, and I used to say on the blog all the time,
Bloated?
I feel
'Cause I started
fat, I
thinking
feel
about that
bloated,
too.
I feel gross, I feel bulky, I feel,
Yes.
but then it comes to the point of, well, what's I don't know. It's a fascinating. I find it really the whole discussion fascinating because I could play devil's advocate on their side, and I could say, how can you tell someone not that they can't feel fat when you're
And I love that so many of my friends commented, like, in their words, I'm a fatty, it's fine by me. Sometimes I do feel fat. It's okay.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing because regardless of my body size, when I was fat or when I was thin, when I was 135 pounds or 225 pounds, I still had that feeling of fat. It doesn't. It's almost a complete. It's a separate. There's a separate feeling there. There is a feeling there, and I don't want it to be a feeling, but it is like And then not to even mention the practical use of it. So, for example, Thanksgiving always pops into mind. Everyone gorges themselves, eats a lot. You sit on the couch, you unbutton your pants, and you're like, oh my God, I feel so fat, I ate so much.
See, it's funny because they would never come out of my mouth. And I know that I'm the anomaly. I might say I feel bloated because I tend to use too much salt. But no, and for me, it was all about the offering of it as an option. Because I didn't say this on Facebook, but the more people that commented, I thought, we're all 30 and above.
Yes.
And we are grown-ass women. And then I started thinking, for me, the hang-up was, what is the policy with Facebook? Is it 13? I think it is. You can get a Facebook account.
Yeah.
13. That's what bothered me. I thought, right now at 9, my daughter would never even think of saying that.
It's true.
Which may make her the anomaly. But I thought, you know what? Why are we offering it as an option? You can say on your own personal page, I feel so fat. I ate too much yesterday. Today's a new day. But why are we offering it as an option? Why are we planting the seed? That was my struggle.
And I agree. And I feel like it is one of those words where we need to change the culture around it, or it'll never change. And I'll use an example of the word retarded, because that's a word that's used, and it was used by at least my generation. When I grew up in the 80s, that was a word we slung around. Oh, you're so
gay.
Retarded.
People,
or gay.
Yes. I mean, it's so antiquated now.
It
not
is.
retarded. The gay, I hope, is antiquated.
Yeah, I think so. I still
kids.
hear people say retarded. I always,
Yes.
my husband's guilty of it. My best friend, who's a teacher, still says it.
Yes.
And I'm like, you're a teacher. You need to stop using that word.
Yeah.
It's, so there is.
Because there's no way the fat on Facebook was not negative. Like, I love Erin Brown. We've talked about her before, and I love when she says, and she's not the first to say it, I have fat. There's fat on my body. We all have fat. I also have hair. I have fingernails. In order to live, I have fat. I am not fat any more than I am fingernails.
Right.
But there was no way Facebook meant it as anything other than negative. It's not like saying I feel big, which people could have said, well, yeah, but they mean muscular or powerful. There's no way it's not a negative saying I feel fat. There's no way it's not accompanied by a frowny face.
I'm not sure if I agree, only because I think we're the ones that give it meaning. So
you're right, but I'm thinking Facebook. They know what they're doing. They're a marketing machine. I don't think in any way they meant it in any other form than negative.
I don't even think they thought about what it means. I just think people say I feel fat, I'm going to
ask. Yes, you're probably right with that too. Yes,
what I'm saying
right.
is we're defining, we're attaching that meaning to it.
But would we ever say, and I know I put this on Facebook, but I feel eyelashes.
No, you agree, but I do say I feel strong, which I say all the time, which I feel like
Yes, you're right.
when we
No,
spin it
good point.
positively, like
Yeah.
oh, I went to the gym today, I lifted heavy, I feel so strong. And what I mean by that is I feel accomplished. I feel a
No,
sense
you're
of, you
right.
know what I
You're
mean?
right.
Like I
You're
feel
right. Yes.
I'm using a physical word to describe the way that I feel. The problem with fat is that
You're
there's a
right.
negative connotation and we use it as a derogatory term towards other people. Like you would never
Or
describe someone as
ourselves.
fat, and then so we're equating this negative. So it's funny because
No, you're right.
I have been trying to train myself not to say it. It's one of those things that I grew up saying. I mean, I stopped saying, you or what are you, a retard or what? No one says that anymore. It
Yes, yes,
sounds
yes, yes.
connotation. And I call people out when they say it. And when someone said I feel fat, I would call them out too. I would never allow them to say it.
Yes.
But then part of me is like, but other people can have the right to say that if they want to say it. Like, so I'm kind of.
Yes, for me it was all about offering it as an option and planting the seed with that 13-year-old girl user.
Right.
That was my only hiccup with it because
No,
I am not
totally
censorship.
right. If we could stop an entire generation from using fat as a word of feeling, it would be definitely an advancement. Like we would be making positive change for sure. Like I wish it never somehow got into my head that that's the word I use to describe when I'm feeling. It's generally, it's there's two aspects of it. There's like I ate too much and I feel bloated, and then or there's the other aspect of it is just I'm stressed and emotional and I feel off and just leave me alone, and you know what I mean? And for some reason,
habit.
Yes.
I think I didn't want to implant that habit in the younger generation. And I read a quote the other day that said, loneliness is a habit, which I was thinking when you said how much you love the wycwyc community and how you were feeling like, oh, and then you shared it and you felt better. And so I think all of these things are habits, from weird things like loneliness to saying the fat. And I thought, oh, I don't want to start that new generation, because they will realize that you nailed it with Facebook. I hadn't thought about that. They probably didn't think about it. But the new generation will immediately intuit at 13, oh, yeah, this is not good. This is not a positive. There's no smiley face emoticon.
Well, in a weird way, the fact that they did it has shed light on it, and now we're talking about it, so then it becomes something that really maybe only small niche communities like our own were discussing. Like I said, I've blogged about it. I know other bloggers have blogged about it, but it hasn't really been something that has been brought to more of a national attention where people
And what did they
are
replace
discussing
it with? Because I think it was stuffed, right?
Well, it was funny because they already had a full. Why don't this? I feel full, which is, yeah. I mean, hey, I ate too much. I feel full.
And I would say stuffed.
Bloated is a good one, because I would say bloated.
I know, because I'm salt queen.
Right. But it's funny because I do understand people saying, someone commented on your wall where like, you can't tell me what to feel. I feel fat. I feel, you know what I mean? Like, and I thought, you're right. I mean.
And that was when I thought, exactly. That's what crystallized it for me too, is I thought, yeah, let's just say whatever you want, but don't offer it as an option.
Yeah, that's true.
So we've wrapped up our coffee talk.
We did. It's kind of our, what do they call it? The water cooler talk? Or the round table, the discussion. Yeah. So we're going to end with our wycwycer of the week, correct?
No, and I love when I saw that she tweeted this. It is Coco of Got to Run for Me. On Twitter, she's got and the number 2, and then run and the number 4, me. I thought that is the best compliment ever, and I'm super curious if any other listeners think this, feel this, have any insights. But she said when she listens to our podcast, she feels like she's having coffee with us and just hanging out, and I love that.
It is cool. And did you used to have a like a series of posts or a post where you said, if I was having coffee with you?
Yes. It's because I missed my podcast with Shauna, and I think another member of our tribe at one point said, listen, when you do a podcast, I want you to get right to the meat. Give me the information. Give me the statistics. Give me the research. And I thought, yep, that's not our people.
That's not fun for me whatsoever.
We're the infotainment. I know, because that's what I want, especially if I'm listening to the podcast while I clean or walk or hang out. I'm not an information one. I want to feel like I'm having coffee. So that was the highest.
It's true. You know what? I started re-listening to Jillian Michaels' podcast, which I am a big fan of. And
you got me into?
Well, because I started running again because the weather finally broke and it's not sleeting out or snowing, and it's so.
I got the tank top.
I got a little streak of runs in, so I started listening again, and I was like, it was like coming home. Like I love, because they just have conversations. You know, they bring on a caller, they'll bring on an expert now and then, which is great, and I appreciate those tasks. But sometimes I just like the chit chat, the chatter, and it's kind of like it gives you time to think and kind of get into other people's heads and maybe see a perspective that you didn't see or hear something that you never thought of. And I mean, really, to me, that's what our podcast is, because that's the podcast I was inspired by, where I was like, you know, Carla and I have a lot of opinions is a nice way to say it.
And I think sometimes if you watch the behind the scenes, you'll see it takes a lot of planning to come off as spontaneous and off the cuff as we do. But that's our overarching goal, and so that really made me smile. When someone captures your brand or whatever it is, it makes you feel great.
Not to mention that she's just like like Coco is a just exemplary. Well, I can't say that word. What's the word? You have to like fill in the word.
Now I can't say exemplary.
She is a great example of a wycwycer. She's very active in the community, and I mean, once or a tweet every day or so from her.
She responded to yours this morning.
She did, and she always makes me smile, and it's great to have.
Yes, we love you. You're our wycwycer of the week.
You are. We'll have to we'll link to you in the podcast post so that people can find you and follow you on Twitter. Wow. Okay, I think, are we wrapping it up? Season 8?
We are wrapping up Season 8.
No, my God, Episode 8.
Thinking Episode 8, Season 1, in the can, as they say, if they still say that.
Yes,
I'm proud of us. We did it. We stepped up with our challenge.
We did. We should need to keep going. I'll have to kind of ponder a new challenge for next week's podcast, something that we can do with the community. I'm a big challenge girl. I like the challenges. I feel it's not a competitive thing. It's more of a let's inspire people. Sometimes I feel like I need a push or a reason. That's why I sign up for races sometimes. I'm like, I could run every day, but I really need an end goal or something. So that's why I'm a big fan of the challenge. So maybe we shall ponder. And if you guys have any ideas for challenges,
feel free to jump in and post on the wall. We love it. Share your pictures.
Share your pictures. You could post. On Facebook. And we're everywhere. So we're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. You can post a comment on the blog. You can post a comment on Tumblr. We're trying YouTube. We have a couple comments happening on YouTube here and there. So.
I have one last thought before we wycwyc it out. Goodreads. Till the 23rd, you could still enter to win the book on Goodreads. So I didn't want to forget to mention that. I know we keep talking about the book. It's not out until May 5th, but you can win it now at goodreads.com and search for What You Can When You Can. And we're still having a giveaway.
Yes, we are, and we should start off with the Goodreads podcast. Oh my God, I can't talk right now. Start off with the Goodreads giveaway next week's podcast to remind people.
All right, that's the dog saying we are done.
We are out. It's a wrap.
Another podcast.
All right, till next week, guys. Wycwyc. Okay, we're good. Oh my God, I just have to cough so bad.
Oh my gosh, I think that was really good.
Yeah, no, super fun. Yeah, I'll edit. You know what? Last week I listened and I edited out some of our pauses and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it's really easy for me to do. It's not that difficult. But yes, I think it's really good.
Okay, I'm gonna take the dog out. We rocked it. I thought that was really fun.
Yes, I'm gonna stop the podcast.
And then let's talk about next week maybe doing the fitness wearable things. I don't know if that sparked any good comments, but I think it could be great because we advocated so much in the book, but talking about that whole thing, the darker side, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, and actually it's a great conversation because there's a darker side to everything. So it's almost like we can use it as an in to talk about kind of going to the dark side with everything from working out to eating healthy, because there's that whole trend right now with people talking about orthorexia and
yes, all things in moderation rock, and it goes back to the soda thing, which you don't do, but I'm fine with. Okay, so I have 3 a week. I'm okay with it. It's moderation.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna shut it down.
Yay, goodbye. We did it.